A very warm good morning to all of you. I welcome you for today's class. Today we continue the topic, the third topic from the chapter Nationalism in India. We have already learned one of the topic from this topic. Now the rest two today we will learn. What we are going to learn today is how the participants of the movement. Now what is this movement? This is the civil disobedience movement which we learned last class. In our last class we learned the Dandi March, how Mahatma Gandhi began the civil disobedience movement with the breaking of the rule of the Britishers by making salt. Now we continue who all participated in this movement and with what intention they participated in the movement and what Swaraj meant to them. These things we will learn in today's topic, and for you to learn easily I have put in order, that is who are the people who supported the civil disobedience movement. First one is that is rich peasants. These are the farmers who were rich who supported the civil disobedience movement. Second one is poorer peasants, poor farmers. Third one is business class, and fourth industrial working class, and fifth women participation. So now this is, you can easily recall who all participated in the movement. Now we will study what is their intention of participating in this movement. Why did they support Mahatma Gandhi? That is what we should learn. Now when we speak about rich peasants, now they are the rich farmers. Name given in your book, there are two community name they have mentioned in your book, that is Batidas of Gujarat and Jats of UP. They are the two communities who were very rich farmers, and these farmers came in support of Mahatma Gandhi joining the civil disobedience movement. Now what is the background on which they supported Mahatma Gandhi? The background, when we see, these are the rich farmers who were producing commercial crops. Now if you recall, in the last class I have mentioned about worldwide depression. Now when we 1926 and 1930, between these years there were worldwide depression. Now when worldwide depression took place, the produce was more and the demand for the crops in the market were reduced, less. Therefore what happened, these rich peasants did not get income. Now when they did not get income, what happened? The revenue that they have to pay to the Britishers, they were not able to pay. When they were not able to pay the high revenue, what was their demand? Their demand was to reduce the revenue. They demanded the Britishers to reduce the revenue. But what did the Britishers do? Britishers did not heed to their demand. When they did not heed to their demand, what happened? These people came out in support of Mahatma Gandhi and they started to join Mahatma Gandhi in the civil disobedience movement. And now these rich peasants, they did not only join, they all motivated other people also who did not join them, and very actively they participated in the civil disobedience movement. But when Mahatma Gandhi went for the second round table conference, when he called off the movement, then he came back and again he relaunched the civil disobedience movement. When he relaunched the civil disobedience movement, these rich peasants, they did not support later on. Because why they did not support later on? Because their demand was not taken heed. There were no revision in the revenue which they had to pay. Therefore they became little hesitant to participate in the civil disobedience movement when it was relaunched. First they supported with much enthusiasm, but second, when it was relaunched, they did not support with the same enthusiasm which they had. Now second one, poorer peasants. Now when we speak about poorer peasant, this is the another social community which supported the civil disobedience movement. When they wanted to support the civil disobedience movement, what was the background? Now the background is same thing, like the rich peasants expressed the effect of the worldwide depression. They also had to undergo this worldwide economic depression. The little income which they had, these poor peasants, that was not enough for them to pay the rent, high rent which they had to pay to the landlords. Now what is their demand? Their demand is not only to reduce the rent, they wanted fully to be excused from this paying of rent to the landlords. Therefore, they also came out in support of Mahatma Gandhi and supported the civil disobedience movement. Now, for these both class, what is this Swaraj meant? For them, the Swaraj is produce of revenue. And poor peasants, what is their meaning for Swaraj? That is the remittance of the revenue, the rent that they were paying for to the landlords. Now, the third group that we are going to study about is business class. Now, when we speak about business class, it is a good news for them those years. Now, during the World War I, what happened? There was high demand for the goods. So, these business class earned a very good income, a very large profit. When they tasted this success in their life, what they wanted to continue. They wanted to have more profit. They wanted to expand their business. Therefore, they came out in support of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, with the intention that Britishers should not have any interference in their business, what they are continuing. Therefore, what did they do? This business group all came together and they had a meeting, congress or a meeting during the time of 1920. And in 1927, these business class group people came together and they formed an federation. Now, this federation is called FICCI. FICCI, this is the federation, and this federation came together and they decided and they discussed about the future of the businessmen that they will have in India. Now, these business class people, in 1920 they had the meeting. In 1927 they established FICCI, that is the Federation of Indian Chambers Commerce and Industries. Now, this they established with the intention to flourish their business. Now, during the first civil disobedience movement launch, these people were very happily gave finance to the movement and they supported the movement for the success of the movement. But it is same thing. What happened when Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement and he went for the second round table conference and there was nothing took place. Whatever their demand did not met. What was their demand? Their demand is protection against the foreign goods, the import which was coming to India. They wanted to stop because they wanted to flourish in their own business. But there was nothing, action was not taken. So, when Mahatma Gandhi came back and he wanted to relaunch the movement, they were also hesitant because the protests, the strikes that were taking place were disrupting their business work. They were also reluctant to support Mahatma Gandhi when the civil disobedience was relaunched in 1934 again. And the fourth one is, that is industrial working class people. They came out in support of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, when we speak about industrial working class, mostly these people were not very happy to support the civil disobedience movement. Why they were not happy? Why they were not openly coming out for supporting the Mahatma Gandhi? Because the Congress and the under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi and the other leaders, they were closely associated with the industrialists. When workers saw they are closely associated with the industrialists, they withdrew themselves because the industrialists did not pay good wages to these workers, and also the working conditions was very poor. Now when these workers saw the Congress is closely associated with the industrialists, they withdrew themselves. But then in one place of India, that is in Nagpur, they came out in support of this movement. Now these workers, like those who are working in the railway, those who are working in the mines, and those who are working in the shipyards, all these people came out in large number in support of the civil disobedience movement. They also participated in the boycott of foreign goods and also campaigns which were against the Britishers. They all participated. Even in 1930, these workers wore the Gandhi cap and they came in large number to support the civil disobedience movement. And last one is, that is women, the participation of women. The women participated in large number in the civil disobedience movement. When Mahatma Gandhi marched from Sabarmati Ashram to the coastal place, Dandi March took place. Many of the women came out in support of this movement, and many of the places wherever Mahatma Gandhi stopped, they went and listened. Later they realized that whatever service they do to the nation is the sacred duty, they realized. Therefore many of the women came out. When we speak about urban areas, the women who came to support of civil disobedience movement were from the high caste families. And when we speak about rural areas, the women who came out to support the civil disobedience movement were the rich peasants families. These are the two group of women came out in large number and supported the civil disobedience movement. But then when we see the Congress, they were not given much importance to the women because the view of Mahatma Gandhi. What was the view of Mahatma Gandhi about women? Mahatma Gandhi view was that the women are meant for to become good mothers and good wives at home. Therefore we see in the Congress there were very long time women had no important position. Now this point you need to be clear, that is rich peasants who came in support of the civil disobedience movement. Second one is poorer peasants. Third one is business class. Fourth one is industrial working class, and fifth one is women. Now these are the communities which supported the civil disobedience movement. And what is Swaraj meant to them? That is reduce of revenue, and here it is remittance of high rent, and third here it is business class, they wanted to flourish their businesses. Industrial working class, they demanded that they should have high salary, and second one is they should have good working atmosphere. Okay, now we go to the next point, that is limits of civil disobedience. What are the drawbacks? What are the limits of civil disobedience movement? In this we need to learn is two things, that is one is about untouchables, second one is Muslim political organization. Now first one is we are going to learn about untouchables. Now in India there was a practice, that is untouchability. Now when we are speaking about untouchability, these people are called Dalits, and they are associated with the work they did. Therefore they were considered as untouchabilities. Now Mahatma Gandhi did not give much importance to these particular section of the people in the beginning. Why? Because he didn't want to hurt the sentiments of the high caste Hindus. Now the high caste Hindus, they only practice these untouchabilities. Now these people, this sect of group of people, what did they do? They came together and they organized themselves and called themselves as Dalits. Now what is the conviction of Mahatma Gandhi? The conviction of Mahatma Gandhi that even 100 years, if we fight for independence, we will not have independence without the elimination of untouchability. That is the conviction of Mahatma Gandhi. He was deadly against this practice in Indian society. So he himself took some actions to eliminate the practice of untouchability in Indian society. What did he do? First of all, he called them as Harijan. He called them as Harijan, that means the children of God. And also he organized Satyagraha movement to have access towards the well, towards entering into the temple and towards the public schools, because these were forbidden to the Dalits. They had no permission to go on to the school where other children are going, and also they had no permission to take the water from the well or taps which the other people were using. So Mahatma Gandhi organized this Satyagraha movement and fought for their right. And also he himself cleaned the toilet to dignify the work that the Dalits did in the society. He wanted to teach, or he wanted to make into awareness of the high caste Hindus, whatever practice which they are doing is injustice which they are doing. Therefore he himself did all these things. Now this is the thought of Mahatma Gandhi about the Dalits. At the same time, there were some leaders in the Congress. What was their thinking about the Dalits? They thought that they should have a separate reservation seat in the election, or they should have separate seats in the schools. All those was their demand. So when second round table took place, there was a demand of B.R. Ambedkar. Now B.R. Ambedkar is the one of the prominent leader who organized the Dalit groups who fought for their justice. Now we come to know that Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar both participated in the second round table conference. In the second round table conference, it was the demand of B.R. Ambedkar that they must be given separate electorate seat. But when Mahatma Gandhi heard this one, it was very disappointing for him, because he didn't want any division in the Indian society. He wanted everyone equal. But the Britishers were very happy, and they told they will give separate electorate seat, because they wanted to divide and rule, because they didn't want that the Indians are united. Therefore they were happy. And when British side they were happy and this wish was granted, Mahatma Gandhi decided to fast unto death. And with this disappointment, Mahatma Gandhi came to India. When Mahatma Gandhi came to India, and there were for some time B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi did not go together. But then there came a time when B.R. Ambedkar agreed with the view of the Mahatma Gandhi. That agreement is called as Pune Pact, September 1932. Now this is also very important. What is Pune Pact? They may ask you in 3 marks question, then you should be able to write. That is the agreement between B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi, that if they keep separate seat in the election, what will happen? These Dalits will remain always separated from the society. Now what is the understanding of Mahatma Gandhi? Understanding of Mahatma Gandhi that these Dalits should be come to the mainstream of the society, Indian society. They should not be kept away. So with this pact, the agreement, then Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar agreed, and this is becomes one of the drawbacks or one of the limit of the civil disobedience movement, because these full Dalit group kept themselves away from the civil disobedience movement because of this. Second one is Muslim political organization. Now Muslim political organization, when we call after the non-cooperation movement, after the Khilafat movement, they started to keep themselves away from the Congress. Now why they wanted to keep themselves away from the Congress? Because they can see openly that the Congress is fully supporting the Hindu religious movements like Hindu Mahasabha. They were fully associated. Now there became a gap between the Congress and the Muslim organization. Now when there became a gap between the Congress and the Muslim organization, both the communities started to make religious procession and they started to keep themselves away from each other. Now this gap built in between these both groups. Then there came a leader, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and he saw the future of India, what will happen to the Muslims. He realized that the Muslims will become minorities and they will have no place in the Indian society. Therefore, he demanded separate seats in the central election. And this demand was not taken, and this was denied by the meeting where all parties came together. In 1920 they had a meeting, and in that meeting it was fully denied by the Hindus. Therefore, the Muslims political organization, what did they do? They did not openly support the civil disobedient movement. Now because of these groups, both the groups did not support the civil disobedient movement, it became one of the drawback, because the section of the Indian society, they did not support the movement to fight against the freedom of India. So for today we come to the conclusion. Now these 4 points you should know, that is how the participants saw the movements, and second one is the limits of civil disobedient movement or the drawback of the civil disobedient movement. Thank you, students.